We're here once again at the classic Jer Bear shop, and tonight we have a surprise for you. Bring it on in, Jer! Bring it on here! Look at that. We have to inspect this lovely specimen of an E46. It's an 04 330 CI-C convertible. Jer Bear's got his racing gloves on. This thing's a fucking poocher, buddy. So here we are into the interior of this lovely 330 CI-C. As you can see, the last guy had some fun with some spray paint here. It's an awfully race-inspired interior. Check that out. Look at that awesome steering wheel, bro. Look at that. The carpets, pretty freaking disgusting, honestly. That's pretty bad. What do you think so far, Jer?
No words.
No words, he says. Woo! So yeah, our buddy Michael bought this car, intentions to flip it. So far, he spent $1,000 for this vehicle, so kind of steep for the current condition, I would say. But it's a 330, so that's one desired point. Also, the body's very clean since it was a Florida car for roughly 16 years. And it being convertible, some people love convertibles. I personally am not a huge fan, but somebody will probably like this car. We're going to begin with the engine diagnostics, as I feel that is more important, as that is ultimately the heart of a car. So Jer Bear currently has the scanner Danner hooked up here to pull some codes. 17 codes. Jeez. Okay, lean code, typical. Common codes for vacuum leaks. Cylinder 3, Misfire.
Low fuel.
Yep. Cylinder 4. Cylinder 5. Okay, so just misfires and some lean codes, some typical E46 stuff. Not too bad to look into. We're now going to diagnose this engine further by removing the cabin tray and getting access to the ignition coils, removing this vanity cover, going to inspect for any vacuum leaks, potentially with the CCV system, as that's very common, typical. So as far as the CCV system, it's fairly old. You can tell by how brittle the plastic is if you listen close. I'm cracking out. My hand's just cracking that, so definitely needs that to be resurfaced and replaced. So as far as the math goes, this is a cheap aftermarket math, so I would not be surprised whatsoever if it is faulty. Typically, you'd see the Siemens or Bosch stamping on the very bottom of this, so you can see it's just blank. So it tells me this is just a cheap Chinese-made math. So just for testing purposes, I'm actually going to vent this engine to atmosphere, meaning I'm going to bypass the CCV valve to ensure that it's faulty. So I'm going to remove the vent pipe here. It's already broken, so I'm just being kind of rough with it here. Look at that, very brittle. So right now, this engine is vented to atmosphere, but we have to also cap off the vacuum sources, or else this would just be a giant vacuum leak. Once I get these vacuum sources capped off, I will then start the engine and see if it operates smoother. As you can see here, this is how brittle these hoses get with age. Watch this. Crazy, right? So yeah, I have to, once again, I'm going to cap off this port here and the port at the very back just momentarily, and then we'll test the engine. Okay, so now with the faulty MAF removed and with the CCV unhooked, I'm going to plug these ports with my fingers. I'm going to have Jer Bear start up the engine and see if it operates smoother. So with the engine idling, I went through and I unplugged each ignition coil one by one until I found no response. And I found that cylinders 4 and 5 had zero response without the presence of the plug. So that tells me either these coils are bad or there's an issue somewhere else. To rule that out, I'll simply just swap these coil packs around and see if the misfire follows. So we'll put cylinder 4 into cylinder 1 location, and cylinder 1 location in cylinder 4. Now we'll swap cylinder 5 and cylinder 2. Now with those coils swapped, I will see if the misfire has followed. So now that I swapped those, these ones should make no difference. Look at that. We need 2 coil packs. Alright, we now have our new used ignition coils to swap in here. See if the misfire goes away. Oh yeah. Much better. This engine now sounds way better. Rev her up, Jer. Hell yeah. Progress. We're now going to begin swapping out this interior back to OEM black pieces, as we have them in stock, thankfully, from Jer Bear and his coupe outside. Yeah, we talked to the owner, well, the new owner of this car, and he agreed that we're going to swap some parts. He's going to exchange the steering wheel and that radio for basically a full OEM spec interior. I think it's a pretty awesome trade for both parties, so let's get to it. This gauge cluster has also been nicely modified by the last guys. You can see that amazing yellow paint job. Also, the cluster is literally just barely together, missing all the screws and everything. We have some Scotch tape here in the corners. Look at that. Brilliant. So we're going to swap this out for a new replacement since we have those in stock. The odometer was not working, so we're going to look into that. There's a little LCD display that pops out of here, so hopefully that's just the issue. Yeah, there's no screws at all in this. They're all missing. Literally just fucking taped together. That is fucking ridiculous. So, these come out. Oh, that's nice. Some warning lights are taped over in yellow. Look at this, Jer.
In yellow?
Yeah.
What the fuck? One here.
Usually these little fins in here will come out with this display. But, yeah, it's poo. So we're gonna swap this display for them, too. Here is the replacement display. So you can see the ribbons are on it. It's like fiber optic. That. Then this frame will hold it sturdy. There we go. There. Okay. There you go. Okay. Yep. Look at that refurb cluster.
Here, look. Right here. Boom and boom. Oh. Uh-oh. So this ain't working. Go with that.
Look at this. Man. A little bit of vacuuming goes a long way, eh, Jer?
Yeah. Really, that's fucking awful.
That is awful. Door panel number 2. About to come off of this car. Oh, for my YouTube channel.
Yeah. On YouTube. Center plug.
Easy.
Why are you so scared?
The battery's fucking hooked up. Get your little vermins out of here.
Even with the battery hooked up, I'm never scared.
Pretty. Yeah. For such a dirty interior.
It's filthy.
No, there's no fucking excuse for this shit. Look at this. Some people out there live like this.
Pigsty.
Look at this shit.
Yeah.
Despicable. What should I say?
Think quick.
So here we have the before door panel, and now we have the after door panel. So much better. Let's get them slapped in. Yeah. That's more like it. All right, we zip.
Let me zip that.
Those are mine. What the fuck? Usually that one's gold, isn't it?
I don't know. Threads in, so.
Sucked it right down. That's for sure.
Nice.
Nice. Timer probably fucking went out or something. Yeah, look at that. Is it trim time? Is it silver trim time?
Sure.
I think it's silver trim time.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh, dear.
It's nice and tight.
Oh, yeah,
Telling you.
really tight.
See, that's why I was doing it. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's fucking tight. That's firm.
I like a tight one now.
Yeah, me too. We now have to modify this center console because this one is broken. And on the convertible, they have this angle right here, whereas standard coupe and sedan do not. It's just a straight cut. So we're going to have to take some material off and match that angle. I now have the line traced of how much material we need to lose. So let's do it. Look at that. OEM finish, baby. That's what I'm fucking talking about. What are you thinking so far, Jer?
Coming together pretty nice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's good now. Look at that fitment, though, of that nicely cut. Move your little bear paw there. Look at that fitment. That looks nice. Like it's meant to be. Beautiful cut. Grade A fucking modification. Jer is currently lubricating the parking brake handle. It's a very tight fit.
It ain't gonna be now, buddy.
We'll see about that. Unga bunga.
This was a nice knob too, actually.
It is a nice knob.
Looks good in here. It will look good in here.
It's gonna match, be all unison, all uniform looking. Oh, that was
Beautiful.
dude. Yeah, it was fucking amazing. What do you guys think about that? Much better than the Ronald McDonald McFuckery they had going on here. All that yellow. Jesus. That looks much better. We're now underneath the car. We had an issue with the power steering not functioning. And this car having the LF20 power steering pump is my first suspect because they love to shear the shaft internally. And as you'll see here in a moment, this one suffered the same fate. So simply, we're going to swap this out for an LF30 power steering pump. And here is the LF20 power steering pump removed from the car. Once again, the shaft is snapped at the very back. Very common. And to replace it, we're going to put in an LF30 power steering pump, which is much more reliable. And the nice bonus is you can also reuse the mounting bolts from the LF20 to the 30, as they will work just fine. We do need to swap one hose over, though. It's going to be this hose right here. They changed an angle of it for the LF30. Jer is currently installing replacement side skirts for this convertible, as the last ones were all chewed up and bent out of shape and everything. Overall, just destroyed, buddy. So we had some of the same color and stock from the outdoor coupe once again. Meanwhile, I'm still doing the power steering. So as far as the power steering hose differences, this one here is for LF20. See all the curvatures and bends to it. Meanwhile, this neighboring one is for LF30. Has one single, basically a 180-degree bend. So I need to install this one onto the car. But before that, I'm going to hollow out this banjo bolt, which I mentioned previously on an older video of mine. The check valve likes to jam shut, which in return will starve the pump of oil, and it can cause that failure. So just to be safe, I'm going to remove that check valve. What do we have here? Hey, Jer, got a piece of your chicken?
Yeah.
Thanks. So we got the power steering finished up. We also went ahead and swapped in a cooling fan from a manual transmission car, as they are a direct swap. In doing so, you can delete the clutch fan, which whenever they fail, they become off balance, and the fan blades will actually separate and shoot off and damage surrounding components. So I also recommended, if you use this fan, is to remove the condenser fan, which is out of there. It's retained by 4 nuts. But you must remove the front bumper and this shrouding here to get it out. So this fan will just use the same plug that the front fan did, and that's it. Well, it's time to remove this commodity here. What a joke. Well, after a few days, we're going to hand off the 330 back to its new owner. He will finish up the bumper and stuff like that, and it's going to be all him to flip it. What do you think about that car, Jer, and the whole process?
It wasn't too bad, really.
Yeah?
I mean,
There she goes! Alrighty guys, that's all for today's video. If you found the following footage to be useful or overall entertaining for you, please feel free to subscribe to my channel, because I highly appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Catch you later.